everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today I'm sharing with you day 18 of the month-long daily art journaling challenge from Art Joy of Sharing Art Community on Facebook. The challenge is called hashtag AJ Snark Attack. You can still join even though the month is getting close to the end. You can come over and join our group, and there's challenges every month. Sometimes there are daily challenges like this, and sometimes there's just a challenge during the month. So yeah, come and join. The link is below the video. Make sure you answer the questions. So today I had a little bit longer play with my page. Sometimes I just want to glue paper to things, and I was inspired by the quote, "Friendship must be built on a solid foundation of sarcasm and shenanigans." That's a great quote. And so I wanted to glue paper, and I did. I drew a little sketch with my sanguine colored charcoal pencil. This is a Jerry's Artorama product. It's a jumbo pencil, and the color is kind of a red. Sanguine means blood, so red. And I drew the quick sketch, and then I got some different papers out of the things that were near me. I've got a smaller container that has smaller pieces, and then I have one right behind me that has larger pieces, and I just pulled out different papers, and I'm making the pieces. I don't intend to cover every single thing with different pieces of paper. I am going to use some acrylic paint for the background, and I think I end up using Neocolor IIs for some of it. But I was looking for skin tone type papers, and adding some in that are different skin tones. There's one that's kind of a craft color brown, and then this one I'm gluing down now it's had striations on it, and then I don't know. These are just scraps, different scraps. This one that I put on the neck is craft colored lined paper that I got somewhere. I don't know, but it's similar to the other color, and I'm gluing them down. The way I'm doing it is I'm taking deli paper, which is translucent, and kind of sketching around because I can see through it, sketching around the shapes, and then using those shapes to cut out my scrap papers and putting them on there. So easy to do. They don't come out exactly perfect because I'm just holding the paper down I'm holding the deli paper down with my thumb onto the other paper and cutting around. So sometimes you get a little bit, I don't know, wonky. For this piece, I had this long, skinny piece of purple, and I just drew a line along the edge. And I should have put it up higher, but I said to make her hair short. Dark purple, that's just some paint on a piece of paper. I probably had some excess paint, and I just scraped it off onto some scrap paper and threw it in the pile. I have so much paper, and what I need to do is go through and just spend several hours jazzing up some of it, because some of it's real plain, but I haven't had a chance to do that recently. It's fun to do that, and I will do it, but a lot of the ones I used don't have a whole lot of pattern on them. For some of these pieces, I'm not drawing. I'm just freehand cutting. I like to do that. It makes it more wonky sometimes, but just having fun with it. Have a little scrap of gold paint on a piece of paper, so I made earrings out of it. And I'm just going through, cutting the pieces as I find a piece of paper that I think is right for it. And this takes longer than if I just painted them, right? If I just took some acrylic paint and painted them, it would have been a lot quicker. But I like to glue paper. I enjoy it. I like to use up the scraps of paper, and it makes me happy to do it. So I would rather do this than just paint. Also, I can sometimes get some really interesting papers depending on what papers I use, whether they're gel prints, whether they're stenciled papers, whether they're intuitive painting papers, mark making papers. I get a lot of interesting pattern and shape, and I think it's more interesting that way than just painting. I rarely just paint, although sometimes I do. You know, I like acrylic paint because it dries quickly and you can do a lot of effects with it. But I think collage is my number one favorite thing of all time. I love to make stuff out of paper glued to paper, whether it's 3D stuff, whether it's an art journal page, whether it's a canvas, doesn't matter. This is what I enjoy. So this is mostly a lot of what you see on my channel. So I've got two of the ladies' faces and hair done. This third one is in the middle, and that place where the page splits is kind of annoying. It makes the final effect a little bit off. It makes her head look really skinny because the page wants to, fold there. So I kind of wish there hadn't been a crease in the middle of the page, but it's an art journal. By the way, if you guys want an art journal like this, a tall, skinny one, this is it's a Ranger manufactured product for the Dilutions line from Diane Reevely, and it is a dialogue. That's what it's called, a dialogue. And she has some already decorated covers with elastics, and these slip into them. The idea was that you could make a planner, like a day planner, out of it. This particular one has days lined out on it that you could, write on. They also have ones that just are just lined. They have ones that there's another kind I can't remember. But anyway, the idea was you could make an art journal day planner type thing. But they also work as just plain old art journals. The paper is manila cardstock is what it is. So it's fairly sturdy. It's if you get it too wet, it will pill, or if you rub on it with something wet, it will pill up. But pretty decent, and I don't think they're very expensive. You can buy them on Amazon. And the covers are already decorated. If you wanted to, you could go over it with your own decorations. If you wanted to do the cover, you could cover up what's there. So the pieces that I used on the shirts or whatever they are on the girls are gel prints. That way it adds in a little bit of pattern. Yeah, it's fun. So I'm just about done gluing down papers, and I will start moving on to the next technique that I did on here. I cut the paper a little short, so I had to put a skinny piece at the bottom, and then I didn't want to glue down, of course, but I am using Yoo-Hoo glue stick on all of this. I'm not using a matte medium like I sometimes do, and I'm kind of burnishing it down with a slightly wet baby wipe. Oh, I did put some more earrings on with that gold paper. When you turn the page back and forth, you can see the metallic gold on the earrings. I guess the blonde girl didn't get any earrings. So sorry, girl. So now I got out my Neocolor II water-soluble crayons. This is made by Caranda Ash, which is a Swiss company, I think. And you can buy them in sets, which is what I did, but you can also buy them as individuals. And I did buy a few just to fill out to make sure I had all the colors at a regular walk-in store in Phoenix. I can't remember which one it was. And then the pen I'm using is a brush pen. This is made by Pentel, and it is a Pentel pocket brush pen, and it's got India ink, which you can refill by getting a new little cartridge. And the pen itself does come with a couple cartridges. So yeah, I'm drawing in pen. which can be a little bit scary. I used to always draw with pencil and then go over it with pen. But for this, I'm making fun, whimsical lines. I'm not trying to be super precise. I'm just trying to make them kind of funky and different. So I'm going right in there with the pen and just going for it with the brush pen. It has a synthetic brush on it. It's not a nib or anything like that, not a felt nib. It's an actual little paintbrush. And the indie ink just comes out. Kind of like one of those water brushes that I like to use all the time, which you'll see me using in a minute. But the ink is already in it. I actually would think it would be fun to have this pen, kind of pen in multiple colors. I only have black. I'm not even sure if it comes in any other colors, to be honest. But if it did, I would be a fan. So there's my illustration lines. I get a lot of variation with that pen. Sometimes when I illustrate, I intentionally use multiple different size nibs of my pens. And with this brush pen, I just can just go and have multiple size lines by the pressure that I apply to the pen. It can make super fine lines if you just do it with a tiny little bit of pressure. You could make a really fat line if you pushed it down, just like you would with a paintbrush. It's just a little paintbrush. And Indie ink does dry permanent, so I can go over it with these other products, which now I'm using my Neocolor II water-soluble crayons to add shadows, highlights, color to my people. And in some cases, I'm writing directly on the page with the crayon, and in other cases, I'm writing on my palette, which is a paper plate at this point. It's just a paper plate, but I'm writing the crayon right onto it and then picking that up with the water brush. And this type of brush, this one happens to be from Arteza. It's got water in the barrel and it's got a little valve that you can pinch and the water comes out. So I can add the shading, I can add the highlights. I do have a little bit of white acrylic paint on my palette as well to use for highlights, and I can blend that with the um, the the watercolor crayons. I can blend a color if I want to, or just use it as straight white. But like in this girl's face, I couldn't go straight white because she has such a dark skin tone. It would look silly. So I just used some of the crayon that was on the plate that was kind of a brownish color and added that into the white to make a highlight. And then I've got reds and pinks and different colors to add to the skin as well to make, warm it up, make the girls have makeup on. They look like they're about to go out and have some shenanigans for sure. At least gossip, if nothing else. They look like they would gossip, like they would drink wine and gossip. Did you hear when blah 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 did da da da? Because yeah, I could see it. I have it in my imagination. So two of the shirts I just did the sleeves, but I didn't do the body because I was tired of trying to cut the shape. So I just colored them in with a couple different colors of whatever color I was using. Green in the middle and red on the outside. But then the purple shirt is all done with gel print. So I had a lot of fun with this. I think it took me about 2 hours, 15 minutes in my studio, and I haven't been in there for a few days because, yeah, just haven't. So this is a daily art journaling challenge, and I have kind of been failing on my daily challenge. But hey, some days things just don't work out, and you've got to do other stuff, or you're thinking about other stuff, you don't feel like it, don't stress when that happens. Just try to do your art the next day. The idea of something like this that we have in our group is just to encourage you to do something fun and creative each day, which will certainly help our mental health as we are struggling with this pandemic and potentially family members or ourselves being ill. All this is taking a toll on everyone. And so having a little bit of creativity each day can just really help out with the struggles. And we have to remember to go and do it. Even if other things seem to be taking precedence, it's a good idea to just get in there, do a little bit of art, even if it's only for 15 minutes. Glue some stuff to some stuff. It'll make you happy. You know? That's what I say. Glue some stuff to some stuff. And I did. So I'm just continuing to add color shading, highlights to my faces with the Neocolor. Sometimes you need to layer it, especially if you're blending it with the water brush. These basically are watercolor. By the time you blend them out, they're watercolor crayons. And so sometimes watercolor requires more than one layer to get it exactly the intensity that you intend. So I'm almost done. And we'll get to the writing part, which probably isn't very fun to watch, really, but yeah. I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you are, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And you can comment or question down below the video. You can turn on your notification bells if you haven't already. That will tell you when there's a video that you might want to watch. It'll come up in your notifications on the YouTube. You can share this on Facebook, pin it on Pinterest. All those things really help out my channel. So I'm always happy when that works out for you guys to do that. Now I've got my black and my white fine tip Posca pens and just adding a little bit of highlight and detail with those in the eyes and on the lips in different places. And then I'm going to write my quote in a minute with my fine tip Posca pen. It's not the extra fine, it's just the fine. There's a lot of different widths of Posca pens. Posca pen is an acrylic paint pen made by Uni, I think in Japan or China, I'm not sure. So instead of writing my quote in straight lines, I decided to write it around their heads, and I thought I would be able to make the whole quote by the time I got to the end of the third one's head, but that didn't actually happen. So I ended up putting a little bit in the in-betweens too, which actually gave it more balance. Just going along the edges of the heads and adding the fun, snarky quote. So that's it for me for day 18. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will try to see you tomorrow for day 19. I will do my best to be here with my video. Thanks. Bye-bye.